Hello, welcome to Eagle Education. Today we are here to talk about lifespan development. What exactly lifespan development means? The developmental process or the change process that takes place in our body from birth to death is called developmental life cycle. When we talk about lifespan developmental cycle, it falls into 8 different stages. That it's divided according to the age category what we are having. So, and it is differentiated according to the different theories. It is differentiated. Like if we see infancy, it is from 0 to 2, and in some theories it may say like 0 to 1. So first we can have an idea what are the different stages. Like it's an infancy, toddler age, preschooler age, school age, and adolescence, young people, and middle age and old age. So when we talk about the milestones of each different stages, it will fall into 4 different categories like physical, cognitive, social, and emotional. What exactly physical means? The changes that happen in our body, like biologically or physically. As we see in our life, initially we are not able to sit or stand, so slowly we develop by sitting, crawling, and we will become independently physically. So as the same, what's cognitive exactly? It's the thinking ability skills. So how we think, how we reasoning skills develop, or how we analyze things. All these thinking skills comes under cognitive. When we go into the social skills, the relations what we are having with others, how we are able to change our relations. Initially we will be comfortable with our mother, then the family members who are close to us and who are near to us. Slowly we develop our relations with the strangers and outside people. The relational changes what we go through all our life cycle comes under the social. So the next one is emotional. The psychological changes which we undergo the whole life will come under emotional, like the temperaments we have, the aggression we have, all these will come under the emotional changes. So when we go independently with one stage at once, first, initially we can go with infancy. Infancy is nothing but when we say it is an observant mind. Mostly we will observe everything at this age, like whatever we say. So whatever we feed them, in example, the baby will never question us back why we are giving a food to them or why we are changing a diaper to them. So they will never question us back because their cognitive skills or their ability of thinking has not yet developed. So they'll still observe everything. Whatever they hear from us, whatever they see in the surroundings, they will observe everything. So physically they will start to sit, crawl, and walk by the end of infancy. By the end of infancy stage, they are able to recognize the people who they regularly see, and they start to say hello or wave their hands even to the strangers, and they'll smile at the strangers. When we come to the next stage, toddler age, still they have the observant mind. That means they receive the information, whatever they see in the surroundings and whatever with the surrounding people talks, they still receives, and still the cognitive skills, the thinking skills are not yet developed at this stage. So still we call the stage as observant stage because they observe everything. So one thing we can see a difference from infancy to toddler age is like they start to say everything mine. If we observe the toddlers, they have an egocentric kind of thing. Everything they say, it is mine, it belongs to me, or they refuse everything what we say, no. So why this happen? Because they start to receive information in more appropriate way so that they can think what's going on, but still they are not having the reasoning and analytical skills at this age. So still they observe and their thinking skills has not yet developed. And if we see, they are physically independent by the end of toddler age. It's from 2 to 3. By 3 years, most of the people or the kids, they can stand on their own, they can run, jump, all these activities. So they are physically independent by the end of toddler age. When we talk about the next stage, it is called preschooler stage. Preschooler stage is nothing but it is the age from 3 to 5 years. So still they have an observant mind, and the conscious mind started to think here. Why the conscious mind started to think or apply in thinking capabilities or in the cognitive capabilities? Because if we see into the toddlers, the preschoolers who not yet started their school and going to some play school or some other schools, we can see they raise a question lot like why we have to do these things, why I should play with this, or why I should eat this. They will ask lots of questions like this because their conscious mind is working. Whatever they see in front of them or whatever the work that's happening in front of them, they started to think why it's happening. But still the observant mind works. Why? Because they just started to think in the cognitive way, their thinking skills, and they're still not having the exposure to the outside world. They are within the family and environment which they are, so they don't have the reasoning skills. So whatever they see and they observe, they just ask the question why, but still they are in the confused state and they will still observe. The first stage is called the foundation stage. Overall, what we talk now, it is like from infancy to the preschooler age. It's nothing but from the age 0 to 6. We also call this as a foundation stage and a very crucial stage for human life. Why it is very crucial for human life? Because most of the scientists or the psychologists who have done their researches regarding this age, they say it's like the rest of our 90% of life depends on 0 to 6. Why? Because the observant mind works more. They don't ask a written question or they don't think about why the things are happening. They just receive everything. For example, if we see like the kids at 3 age, they talk in multiple languages. We see like, wow, they're speaking really well. Why it's happening? Because the environment is built for them like that. For example, if we see another one, the kids who develop in the family, like they are having a mother who is a dancer or who is a musician, so they do the same activity. We have seen some videos in YouTube, like 1-year-old kid is dancing very well. Why all these things happening? Because they observe everything, whatever we teach them, whatever they see and how the surroundings are. So the great psychological changes happen at this age, and as well as the physical development or the biological development takes place, a big change in between these age. So we can say it's a very crucial stage because we develop lots of skills at this age. Along with the psychological, or cognitively we will be independent by the next stage, and also we have a social changes because the kids by the end of this age, they love to go out, play with their friends, spend their lot of time with peer groups than with the family members. So the lots of things changes and they'll build some kind of personality, how they should be outside. When we talk about the next stage, it is the school age. It is also one of the crucial stage for every childhood. It is like from 6 to 12 years. We can say the school age as a reasoning mind. Why we say this as a reasoning mind? Because they start to think analytically. If we say anything to them directly, they never believe it. Why they don't believe? If we see into the school age kids, mostly they raise a question, how a baby born? So we generally we hear this question in every house where we are having a school age kids. Why they ask question? Because they just don't believe that baby comes from the stomach, because their reasoning and analytical skills started here. Another example, we can say why the reasoning mind started here, because We don't introduce a mathematics and science subjects before first class, that is the age before 6 in schools. Why? Because they can't think, they can't use their conscious brain, they just observe what we say. So we introduce like addition, subtraction concepts only after the 6 years of child, because they can understand the concept and they can analyze the concept. If we just directly say 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, they just never follow it. If we say, we open the 2 fingers and say 1 plus 1, if we count together, it makes 2. So they believe the things only when they believe it in analytically, they analysis by themselves and they believe the things. So another thing, when we talk about this age, they like to do more activities and they build intellectual independence at this age. So most of the parents, we should encourage them. So they want to do lots of things, not perfectly. We should never expect a person in the childhood age or the school age to be perfect, because they want to concentrate in the number of different activities what they are seeing around them. Like mother is doing one thing, father is doing another thing, and grandparents are doing different things. They observe everything and they analyze with their little brains and they want to explore in the all ways. So they want to prove themselves they are capable of doing all things by themselves. So they want to become intellectually independent. So whatever the decisions they make, I think every parent should give an encouraging hand and push them forward to increase their intellectual skills and develop them to be self-independent. And the next thing, when we talk about the physical change, it will be like a uniform growth. They will not grow on of a sudden. When we talk about the next stage, it is an adolescent stage. What we can say about the adolescent? We can say him as a humanist mind. Why a humanist mind? Because he think about himself more and he want to present himself as an identical person or a unique personality what he is having to the outside world. Mostly he think of searching himself what he is really want. So mostly by the time when the adolescence start, adolescence is nothing but teenage. So most of the teenage people, they started to think on what is my next criteria, where should I go, what graduation should I go into, how my life will be. They'll think about all these things at this age because they want to build up their personality and they want to show their uniqueness at this age, but they still need some help from parents or others to think or make decisions. They can think on their own, they can have decisions on their own, but still they need guidance because they will be in a very confused state. So most of the parents have a problem with teenagers. Why they have a problem with teenagers? In general, teenagers are the most problematic people to the families or to the society. Why it is happening? Because the puberty happens in the teenage. Because of that, lots of physical, emotional and psychological changes happen to them, and they will be very confused at this stage, because in general, if we see the parents say you're not that grown to take the decisions or do the things. In some other things, we will say you are a big kid, you should be able to do these things. So they are really confused where they belongs to. I belongs to childhood or whether I belongs to a adult. So they are in a confused state, like where I belongs to. And along with these things, they have a lots of social and emotional changes which is going on through their developmental process, and they'll show lots of temperaments, aggressions, all these things. So when parents are having awareness regarding things, why the teenagers are going in such a temperament way or playing such an aggression things towards the parents, this is the reason mostly the teenagers want to spend their time with their friends rather than their parents, because the temperaments and the psychological changes which they undergo will never be understood by a parent. So when parents are having such an awareness, what are the changes going through the adolescent age, so they can build him who is having a good personality, and he will be a good adult in the society, and he can play the main key roles with socially, or he can balance his emotions when he faces problems. So most of the teenagers, they need a support from their parents and family environments, so which they will not seek a help from outside, so and they can make a better decisions and become a better person. So when we talk about the next stage, it's the young adult or early adulthood. So when we talk about this period, again this says it is from 18 to 30s in some theories, and some theories it says like 20 to 40 years. So when we talk about this, most of the people at young adulthood, they look for the settlement time. So we can call them as specialist minds. Why as a specialist mind? Because they're independent according to their intellectual as well as their decision making, all the things. In example, we can say he will not seek for any help to do. He can ask others, how can I help you? So moral and spiritual developments happen, self-realization and self-analysis happen at this stage. So they are at a stage as a whole person by the end of this stage, and they can take a decisions and build their personality, what they are ready to show to the society. So the next stage when we talk, it is the middle age. The middle age, they are from 30s to 60s or either from 20 to 40. It is also differentiated according to the different theories. So when we talk about middle age, they spend lot of their time towards the family. They don't think about them. They want to do how the family is running, how the financial statuses are going. So by the end of the life, or when I reach to the old age, I should maintain some things, or I should give something to my kids to stabilize themselves, or to look at, when I look at back, I should see something. So they work on these kind of thing more in middle age. So the life won't be much exciting for them, so they carry on more responsibility things, and they look after their kids. So their life will be very routine and regular to them at this stage. So they feel like it is bored sometimes, and sometimes they feel like a depression kind of things, because since it's going a routine life. When we talk about the old age, it is, or late adulthood, it's from 60 plus. 60 plus, the most of the people, they think about the past. The old people, they like to travel back and think what happened in my life, how the changes happened from my younger age to now, whatever I have gone through, have I made a good decisions or bad decisions. They think about these things lot, and they want to end into a peace by the end of their life. So they think about how they can change the negative things happened in their life. If there is any possibility to change them, if the changes happen, they think that they can rest in peace. Thank you.